Good day to everyone. Good evening, whatever time it may be where you are. Welcome. Welcome to Inner Light Ministries, to our Sunday virtual gathering that we have together. I'm Reverend Deborah Johnson, Rev D. So glad to be in fellowship with you at this time. And I'm going to invite you to just take a breath. Just take a deep cleansing breath. We're breathing in yes. We exhale gratitude. Yes, and thank you. I'm telling you now, those are your anchor words. Yes, and thank you. At Inner Light, we come together. We come together to practice universal spiritual principles, to apply these principles to our everyday circumstances. That's everything that's going on in our lives, whether it's our personal life, professional life, the political arena. Same principles work everywhere. And what a time we are in. We need to just take a breath about that all by itself. Whoo! We're going to be talking today about staying open. Staying open. We are here about healing. We're here about transformation. We're here about doing the deep inner work that's necessary in order for us to bring forth the beloved community where there's equity and justice, where there's fairness, spiritual grounding, and environmental sustainability and regeneration. We are radically inclusive. So people are here from all different kinds of walks of life and backgrounds, ideologies, practices, gender expressions, political affiliations or not, all of the above. And we're still here together as spiritual community, putting the commune back into community here. So whether this is your first time with us or whether you've been with us many times before, we say welcome. This is where you ought to be. There's no accident. There's no mistake here. We provide tools for living. These are the things that actually to help us put these principles into motion. These principles, we call them universal because that's what they are. They're ageless, they're timeless, they're transcendent of any particular history or culture, no dogma, no doctrine, just the plain, simple stuff about life. You don't have to be a believer of anything in particular. As you're listening, feel free to translate this into something that makes sense to you. I may use the term God. You might not relate to that. Call it life, the universe, the love principle, whatever it is that works for you. I want you to have permission to know to do it through your lens. What I am going to invite you to do, though, is to stretch. Don't pigeonhole any of this into just one particular area or arena. Don't silo these principles. They work in everything, in everything. So you're going to hear me going from the micro to the macro, from the personal to the political, because it's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. And the more areas that we are able to apply any of it, the stronger we'll be. And doesn't that really make sense? If, let's just say it's a principle like fairness, or a principle about showing up and being present. Okay. The more places that you can show up and be present, the greater will be your propensity to just be that way all the time. You won't have to pick and choose. You won't have to code switch between how much presence do you have at this moment or the other moment. Presence will just be you and your beingness. And that's the place where we want to get to, where we're practicing the principles everywhere without regard to circumstance or condition because we have embodied it so much. We're talking today about staying open. We always offer affirmative activations. These are ideas that help to cultivate the fertility of our consciousness so that we can become fertile ground and fertile soil for the principles that we're talking about. We expose you to them here with the idea of ask you to come back to really hone in on it, practice it, repeat it to yourself, because that's how it really gets embodied. That's how it sticks with you. Our affirmations today are from a particular source. I really, really, really love this particular author and political, social political figure. His name is Dr. Howard Thurman. He was a 20th century theologian. He was the first African American to ever be head of a major seminary. He was head of Boston University Seminary. He was an alum from Morehouse College, actually a classmate of MLK Sr., and had a chance to teach Junior. He's thought of sometimes as the father of the civil rights movement, as he was sent to Gandhi in India to learn what it was that Gandhi was doing in his nonviolent practices and to bring some of that back to the United States for the burgeoning civil rights movement that was being birthed in the 50s in the United States. He started the first integrated church in San Francisco, I think in 1948, called the People's Church. It's still going on now. Just a very quiet, thoughtful man. If you're not familiar with his writings, I really want to encourage you to do that. There is a wonderful project that my dear friend and colleague, Reverend Dr. Liza Ranco, helped to spearhead and be a consultant on, where Sounds True, the publishing company, audio publishing company, put together a collection of his sermons so that you can actually hear him. Beautiful, beautiful cadence. I think that you really might enjoy. So he's known for having a lot of little short essays, little short passages. They've been favorites in the Inner Light community forever. I got introduced to them through my practitioner training with Reverend Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith, and they've become a staple. So we're going to be looking at one of his passages called Open Unto Me. It's going to come up on your screen. I invite you to actually say it with me as I'm reading it so that you can feel that vibration within your own being. These will be our affirmative activations for today. Open Unto Me by Dr. Howard Thurman. Lord, open unto me. Open unto me light for my darkness. Open unto me courage for my fear. Open unto me hope for my despair. Open unto me peace for my turmoil. Open unto me joy for my sorrow. Open unto me strength for my weakness. Open unto me wisdom for my confession. Open unto me forgiveness for my sins. Open up to me love for my hates. Open up to me thyself for myself. Lord, Lord, open unto me. I invite you to just sit with this for a moment. And see if there's something in particular that's calling out to you now. Maybe it's open unto me love for my hate, or hope for my despair. Perhaps it's open unto me light for my darkness. Or just simply, Lord, open unto me. I invite you to come back to these. Take them in their totality. And whatever that certain one or two things it's really calling out to you, to spend a little extra time cultivating that, a little extra time contemplating it, thinking about it, putting it into practice. Thank you. So I am going to invite into our space as part of a musical invocation, as well as just helping to open up our heart space for this message about staying open. Real near and dear friend in the Inner Light community, I invite Karen Drucker.
In beauty, may I walk all day long. May I walk through the seasons. May I walk. May I walk in peace. May I walk in peace. On this path, may I walk through my life. May I walk in old age. May I walk. May I walk in peace. May I walk in peace. May I walk, 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 may I walk in peace. May I walk in peace. In joy, may I walk. May I walk in love. May I walk. May I walk in gratitude. May I walk. May I walk. May I walk in peace. In peace. May I walk. May I walk in peace. In peace. In stillness, may I walk in forgiveness. May I walk in loving kindness. May I walk. May I walk. May I walk in peace. always walk in peace. In peace. May we walk. May we walk in peace.
May we walk in peace. Thank you, Karen. We're talking today about staying open. I can honestly say that people asking, how do I stay open, is probably one of the most common questions that I'm getting at this particular time. There's always a lot of things on people's minds about their health, about their relationships, about their finances, their careers, things about their residence or their employment, their family, their ambitions, like all these different things. And at least in terms of what's coming my direction as a spiritual leader, a spiritual teacher, a social justice activist, what I hear the most is some variation of, how do I stay open? What it gets translated as, it's that people who really do believe in spiritual oneness, people who really do believe in equity and justice and fairness and a room for all, are finding themselves extremely challenged right now. And how do they really live those principles? How do they live those principles when they look out upon the horizon and they see so many different things that are horrific in their minds, when they see people who have value systems that seem to be the antithesis of the values that they themselves hold, in the midst of a lot of rancor or like divisive energy? I find so many people are asking just, how do I hold on? How do I do that? And if you find yourself asking those questions, you're not alone. Okay, you're not alone. I can tell you, I personally struggle. I personally struggle. There's a particular group that's continued to meet. They had been in my How to Depolarize workshop that I'd done earlier in the spring. And they've decided to meet every 3 weeks or so, just to have a place to engage and keep practicing the principles that they learned. I'll share with you at the end what the next course is, sequel to that. But I remember that we had a session. These things were on Mondays, and it was the day where it just seemed like everything in the world was happening. The Republican National Convention was just starting right at that moment. There had just been an assassination attempt on former President Trump. That earlier that morning, the classified documents case had been dropped by Judge Eileen Cannon. And I gotta admit, when I saw that classified documents case was just being dropped, I kind of internally lost it for a minute. I mean, I didn't go like ballistics, but a few explicatives kept coming out of my mouth for a while. I'm not I'm not immune either. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. We either believe in this oneness thing or we don't. And it's no test now. This is not a drill. It is really, really on. I keep telling people all over the place. The last time that we had our in-person gathering at the beginning of the month, at Resource Center for Nonviolence, we do the first Sunday of every month. And I asked, how many people in the room here have ever taken a class with me or studied with me or followed me or come to church and whatnot. And, a fair number of them raised their hands. And I said, everything that I've ever taught you, everything that you've ever heard from this ministry, all of that, think of this right now as like a final exam. Okay? Where you have to take the cumulative sum total of all of it and practically apply it to something. These things that you might have been learning in some kind of abstract sort of way, you've got to solve a problem. Like in math, they'd call it like the word problem, where you had to really think it through to figure out what was being asked. Well, it's like we're getting a big cosmic word problem final exam. And it's not final exam as in it is the last exam. It's the final exam in the sense of you've got to pull together the things that you've been learning up until this point and actually step out on it and actually use it. Okay. So just take a breath. Take a breath. So what I've been kind of hearing from people is one is about just like being open. And for the most part, I'm hearing folks say that they actually have some kind of idea about how to start to be open. It's all about the staying open. It's all about the staying open. Okay. So that's why I've titled this talk Staying Open, not being open. Okay. You've got to be open, stay open, but it's about the staying power. The staying power. Take a breath. So the first thing that I want to say here is that whenever we're talking about longevity in anything, okay, whether it's athletics, your career, like relationships, anything that's going to be something that you're in for the long haul, it's never that you start someplace and you just stay there. Listen to what I'm saying. That's not what happens. There is this continuous showing up. There's a continuous being available. It's the wax on, wax off. There's a repetitiveness about it. But here's the thing, a repetitiveness with a discipline. And the discipline is that ability to follow through with it, whether you feel like it or not. Listen to what I'm saying. We live in a society now that is so they want so much self-gratification. And if it's not fun, if it doesn't make them happy, if it's boring, it's like nanosecond attention. Boom, gone, like off to the next thing. We're we're treating relationships, even things that we supposedly care about, we're treating them as though they are dispensable. Okay, dispensable. More easily replaced than protected, nurtured, or salvaged. I'm going to say that again. Dispensable. More easily replaced than protected, nurtured, or salvaged. We're trading out, trading up, trading away. You just go get a new one. Okay. And we're living in a society now where that's becoming so common that things that otherwise would have lasted a long time become disposable. Okay, so what do you do with this, whatever it is, when you want to replace it? Because you no longer think that it can be protected, nurtured, or salvaged. The disposable is how you, quote unquote, get rid of it, how you let it go. So we have a planet now that is filled with all of these things that are supposedly, quote unquote, disposable. But disposable to where? I can hear the activist Butterfly Hill in my head now. She says, people say, like, throw it away. She says, there's no away. Like, where is away? So this consciousness that we've gotten into as a society takes us further away from perceiving things as sacred. See, sacred is the antithesis of dispensable. Okay. Sacred is where you realize that something has such intrinsic value, that of course it needs to be nurtured, protected, and salvaged. That's what needs to happen. Part of staying open is seeing ourselves. And here, just take a breath here. Seeing ourselves and seeing life as sacred. Just let that sink in for a moment. That life itself, the process of living, being alive, and participating with the universe and all of its principles and all the ways that life shows up in and as through its creations, including human beings, that's sacred. That's different than perceiving life as something that's hostile or something that's scary, something that we have to hedge against, that we have to protect ourselves against, that we have to micromanage and control, because if we don't, everything's just going to go, willy-nilly and haywire, and we're going to come out on the short end. That life is sacred. Your life is sacred. Can you imagine how different you would feel if you walked around every day feeling like, wow, this thing called life is sacred? It's not just crazy. It's not just presenting pitfalls and challenges, but it's actually sacred. Wow. What a difference your life would be if you thought of your life in particular as sacred, not a collection of achievements or mess ups, not your balance sheet, dollar signs, not your health conditions, not your marital status or lack thereof, or anything in between. Just imagine if your sense of value and self worth was not contingent upon any of that, but the fact that you are part of the only thing that is, that you are part of the divine universe itself, that your individual existence was important, it mattered, it valued, and that you are sacred. Wow. Just let that sink in for a moment. See. Now, in regards to this staying open, so many of us will get that at some basic level, but then we'll forget it. Or we will allow something that's going on or that's happening to eclipse our vision of that. Or we allow the outer stuff to camouflage it. We stop remembering. We start buying into the drama du jour, whatever it is that's going on or that's happening right now. Staying open requires being awake. Being awake. Now, I know there's a lot of social political connotations these days about what it means to be quote unquote woke. Well, my personal opinion, I think everybody needs to be woke. Okay. But I'm not just talking about that. I'm not just talking about woke in the sense of being aware of all of the things that are going on in our environment and historical context and all of the rest of that. I'm talking about being awake in a sense of an alive, where there is an awareness, there is an availability. That sink in, an availability. Too many of us are wanting life to be a kind of one-way street. Whatever that is, we think of energy or God or whatever. Sometimes we think of it as almost like this genie, and just give me the right words and I can rub that bottle and say those magic potion things and poof, something's going to come out and grant all my wishes and bring everything that I want to, into me. Nah, it's not exactly how it works here. No. What we're needing to do is to recognize that we have to keep internally recalibrating. Okay? This staying open, it's like tuning. It's like fine tuning. Once again, it's the coming back to it. It's the coming back to it, where there's no judgment about it. If a guitar player tunes the guitar, they're not mad if the guitar is out of tune the next day. They're not upset if it's out of tune an hour later or 5 minutes for that matter. They're not like, what's wrong with this guitar? I can't stay tuned. Or gee, maybe I'm not as good of a tuner as I think that I am. I sure tuned it yesterday. There's, or, who came in here and untuned my guitar? Because when I last left it, that it was tuned. Okay, so who what in here is messing with me and my stuff? No, you don't do all of that because just the physics of things, just pulling on the string, just the weather alone can make it go out of tune. So there's this just coming back, coming back, coming back. And to the guitar player, that act of the continuous tuning, I would contend, whether they're consciously thinking of it or not, is a sacred act. Listen to what I'm saying. That they have surrendered to it. They're not fighting it. They're not complaining about the need for it to be done. Even if they're tired of it, they know that it's a necessary part of getting into alignment. That if they want that guitar to have the best sound that it can have, if they want to make sure that it's in the right key, not too sharp, not too flat, and that coming into alignment, listen, so that what it sounds like to the ear, how it blends with the other vocals or other instruments or whatnot that may be there. It's tuning to something in particular. Listen to what I'm saying. It's not just randomly, oh, let me turn this dial and hey, wherever it lands up, woo, that's fine. No. There's a pitch. There's C, there's G, there's like whatever it is that they're going for. And that C, that G, that whatever the beat, it doesn't change. It doesn't change. Middle C is going to be middle C in Chicago, in Shanghai. It's Bangladesh. It's going to be middle C. Okay? It's not shifting and changing because of what's going on. Whether there's a drought, whether there's a war, a famine, a hurricane, an earthquake, global warming, it's still going to be middle C. So that musician is aligning with something that's transcendent of the noise or whatever it else is that's going on. That guitar player is going to perceive it as an opportunity, and I dare say even a responsibility. That if they're really serious about bringing forth the music, they're not going to do it begrudgingly. They're not going to complain about it. They're going to anticipate it, and they do it to be the best that they can be. I contend that this is exactly what it's like with us in life. This is exactly it. It's like we are instruments. We are instruments. And we get out of alignment. It is necessary on a continuous basis that we retune. I call it recalibrate because it's an energetic thing, just like a sound is a wave vibration. There's something that we're realigning to. There's something that we're retuning to, which is transcendent. Okay? It's transcendent of what the other people are playing at that particular moment in time. You're not just trying to tune to them. There's something that's bigger than all of that. The staying open, it's kind of like staying tuned. It's like staying tuned. So when people are asking me, well, how do I stay open? It's this. It's this conscious awareness and intention, a willingness, a lack of resistance, and even perceiving the act of doing it itself. You, the guitar, the music, all, that there's some kind of sacred activity that's going on here. This is the way. Now, you can translate this into some other metaphor that is more consistent with you and your life experience. I don't care. I don't have any attachment to it. This is like a little parable that's beyond it. Is this message in about guitars? Okay, it's not just about music. It's just a metaphor for something in our lives that's happening that works kind of like that. Like, not exactly, but I think if you can understand this as a metaphor, you'll see what this means about the staying open. The staying open. You can't worry about what everybody else is doing. When you're there, tuning that guitar, the horns can be blowing, someplace else. The keyboard player can be, doing all the. Have you ever been in a practice room? Oh my God. But, like backstage or in a green room or something like that. Sounds like a bunch of chaos. But it's because all of the musicians are taking the responsibility to tune their instruments. Okay. So you're not going to do the exact same thing with every instrument, such as it is with our lives. Do you? Don't worry about how flat everybody else is. Okay. Don't you go flat with them. Do you? Doesn't matter how sharp people are. You don't have to go up there to that state of nastiness or whatnot. You can chill. You can stay on that nice vibration that's in alignment, that feeds the soul, something that makes you breathe, something that lets you exhale. Let's take it to prayer. How good it is. How good it is to be an instrument of the divine. You can play us like a masterful musician. Play us, sing through us. We're open, we're yielded, we're surrendered. We're so grateful for this thing called life. We choose in this moment to love. Lord, Lord, open unto me thyself from myself. In this moment right now, we let it all go. We let go of the stories, the narratives, the struggles, the hopes, the dreams, the expectations, the doubt, the despairs. We let it go. We no longer allow that to be the filter through which we view the world. Third eye open, we see clearly, unobstructed. Create in us a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within us. We let go of the rancor, the dis-ease. We let go of anything and everything that would dare to have us on a frequency or a vibration that doesn't align with the divine. We're in harmony. Harmony. Everybody's not playing the exact same note, but we come together in such a way as to blend. I pray for harmony in this world right now. We don't have to sing unison, but we don't have to sing all over each other either. I'm calling forth the possibility of seeking first the kingdom of God and having all things added. So we call it forth in this moment. We call forth the goodness, the generosity, the graciousness of heart. We call forth the sense of the sacred interconnectedness, the divine mutuality of our existence with one another and the planet. That we be on our best behavior. Beacons of possibility with open hearts and open minds. Bastions of forgiveness, allowing everybody and everything to be redeemed. All needs met. For all the prayer requests that have come in, we pray for those, keep it in the highest watch. Health in the body temple. Those financial matters handled even in the most mysterious way. Wellness of the body temple. Forgiveness and reconciliation, divine right relationship. Trust and courage and strength. Fully resourced. Prosperity and abundance and whatever it is that we're needing. Knowing the Spirit of the living God has gone before us and provided it. We're so grateful. We breathe in that gratitude. Too many blessings to even count. That we just keep paying it forward. Letting our blessings be gifts that keep on giving. It's good. It's done. We get out of the way. We allow that which is already perfect, whole, and complete to be. And so it is. We breathe it in. We're praying community here, and we invite you. We invite you to contact us with your prayer requests. You see the information is scrolling across your screen right now. You can give us a call at 831-465-9090 at extension 254. You can also send us an email. The number 4 in the word prayer at innerlightministries.com, and one of our prayer practitioners will get back to you. Let's just take another breath. And we know in the mind of God it's already done. It's finished. And we just lovingly let it be. So it is. Oh, yes. Just sit for a moment. We're so glad to be in spiritual community with you. I want to remind you that our food bank still goes on. If you're in the Santa Cruz area, it's every Thursday. Every Thursday at noon. We're doing it out of Santa Cruz Bible Church. I believe that's 444 Frederick Street. That's near Soquel Avenue. It's done farmers market style. Shout out to all of our volunteers for the exquisite work that they've been doing for literally decades with this. Fresh fruit, fresh produce, packaged goods, breads, like whatever you want or need, come on by. It's all free. We are so fortunate in the Santa Cruz area to live in a bread basket. So avail yourself. It's all free. And to remind you that Inner Light has a gathering the first Sunday of every month. So this coming Sunday, if you're looking at this in real time, will be August the 4th, 2024. We'll be at the Resource Center for Nonviolence at 3 p.m. That's downtown, close to the downtown area on Ocean Street, across from the Paradox Hotel. You can look us up, what's going on our calendar. The guest speaker that day is going to be Kim Clark. I will be just coming back from Unity Village in Kansas City, Missouri. I have a keynote speech at the People of African Descent New Thought Group conference happening back there. So Kim Clark's going to be the speaker, and our very own band leader, Etienne France, is going to be doing the music. We're going to focus in on some of our chants and our praise and worship songs that are near and dear to our hearts. Everybody gets involved in it. And I tell you, they've been cooking up some food. So be prepared to stay and break bread with us afterwards as well. And now is our time of conscious contribution. This is our time of really saying thank you. Thank you for the blessings that have come our way. It's our time of passing it forward, of reseeding the good that has come to us. And I say thank you to each and every one of you for the generosity of your gifts. We had a community meeting a couple of days ago, and we'll make sure that that information is out there and available to you. It gives a mid-year update for where we are financially, everything that's going on, and some of the needs in particular that we're looking for. You'll see coming up on your screen that there are some special ways in which you can make your contribution. There's a QR code that's there. You can use any debit or credit card. You can use a PayPal account. There's a Cash App. There's also a text to give that's been scrolling across your screen throughout the service. That's also a way that you can do a recurring option as well. If you're on our website, you'll see that there are donate buttons that are right there. Very easy, very convenient, any ways, in fact, that you choose. If you are using the QR code for reoccurring option, you would need to have a PayPal account for reoccurring there. Text to give, you don't. The recurring there, you can use anything, and you can also make it an ACH debit so that it could come straight out of your account, like it's just a debit that's happening, or like an auto pay, which is also a very convenient way, saves us a lot of fees as well. But no matter what methodology that you're choosing, I want you to know how grateful we are. And I'd like to bless these gifts and these offerings now as they're coming in with this blessing, that our every act produces abundance, and we dare to give freely unto the truth that sets us free. We release this gift knowing it returns to us a thousandfold. A thousandfold. Thank you so much for your support. And remember, it's not a one-way street. Okay? Your generosity returns to you. Okay? It returns to you. Okay? At Innerlight, our motto, and we mean this very seriously, is take this consciousness and multiply it. And we invite you to do that. Like us, share the message, subscribe to our YouTube channel. See you next week. Come back to this again to go even deeper in the affirmations. Let us take this consciousness and multiply it.